Good afternoon and welcome to this broadcast. My name is Victor Moyakane. Our sign language interpreter this afternoon is Stephen Dunde. We have quite a lot in store for you, and here we go. It's back to school, or rather back to class, for university dons and university staff who had downed their tools, demanding registration and full implementation of their 2017-2021 collective bargaining agreement. The University Academic Staff Union and the University Councils on Thursday night penned a return-to-work formula, concluding a 78-day nationwide strike that had paralyzed learning in 31 public universities. Brenda Zeda-Rodido with more.
After downing their tools for 78 days, the striking lecturers and university staff in all the 31 public universities Friday morning reported back to work after the union officials called off the industrial action. The University Academic Staff Union and the Kenya University Staff Union signed a return-to-work formula with the University Councils Thursday night. Following 78 days of the strike, the University Academic Staff Union and Interpublic University Consultative Forum today signed a return-to-work formula, concluding the strike that has paralyzed learning and research at all public universities since 1st March 2018. The return-to-work formula has protected the jobs, including members who are under contract, and all disciplinary letters issued during pendency of the industrial action have been withdrawn. The return-to-work formula protects academic staff and union officials from victimization for participating in the industrial action. The return-to-work formula has protected jobs, including members who are under contract. All disciplinary letters written during the pendency of the strike action have been withdrawn, and all outstanding salaries will be paid, including March, April, and May salaries. However, WASU Secretary General Constantine Wasonga says the fight for the registration and implementation of the 2017-2021 CBA is still on. WASU National Office is authorized to apply complementary mechanisms to achieve the 2017-2021 CBA. It is imperative that dons continue the fight for academic dignity. Today, therefore, in line with the recommendations of National Executive Committee, WASU has rejected the counter-offer and signed a return-to-work formula with IPCCF. According to Wasonga, the return-to-work formula opens several new pathways to achieve the DON's fundamental objective of completing better collective bargaining agreement for quality university education. But University Council remains adamant that the offer of 1.75% to be spread over 4 years is final, saying they will get back to the unions should there be any improvements. Brenda Zeda-Rodido, Channel 1 Lunchtime News.
In other news, calls for action against perpetrators of an alleged 9 billion shilling scam at the National Youth Service continue to dominate political debate. Narok-East Member of Parliament Ken Kiloko says that those adversely mentioned should step aside in order to pave way and not interfere, of course, with ongoing investigations.
Accusations and counter-accusations over alleged missing 9 billion shillings at the National Youth Service continue to dominate political debate. Narok East legislator Ken Kiloko says those at the helm of the government organization, including those who were in charge of the ministry at the time the alleged crimes were committed, should step aside.
Cecilia Kariuki should be impeached na ama atolewe, so that she can pave way for investigation. We cannot lose 9 billion shillings kwa hii nchi, na rais kila siku anasema ya kwamba ati tutapiga ufisadi. Hakuna mtu mkubwa kushinda ufisadi kwa hii nchi.
The calls coming as the Orange Democratic Movement vowed to protect national resources from the hands of corrupt individuals.
Ni sisi bado kama chama cha ODM hapo jana tumetoa ilani kwa serikali tukawaambia kwamba wale ambao wamefuja pesa zetu kule NYS wakamatwe mara moja.
Speaking in Busia, party's Secretary General Edwin Sifuna said ODM will not relent in shaming corrupt individuals out to siphon public resources. Meanwhile, Narok Governor Samuel Tunai has called on leaders to focus on national development as mandated in the current constitution. Tunai taking the chance to oppose proposals to amend the constitution, terming the scheme as driven by self-interests.
Wacheni mambo ya tamaa mingi. Ile muda umepatiwa, ile inatakikana ni kwamba kwa hii muda nifanye kazi ndio mnikumbuke ile kazi nimefanyia wananchi ya Narok. Hiyo ndio kitu kubwa ambayo tunataka. Kwa hivyo mimi focus yangu saa hii hakuna mambo ingine, ni kudeliver kwa promises nilipatia wananchi wa Narok East na county yetu ya Narok.
Irene Mchuma Udim, The Lunchtime News.
Machakos Governor Dr. Alfred Mutua and Kisii Deputy Governor, that is Josh Mangi, had a scare earlier today after a bridge that they were standing on collapsed while they were still on it. The two are said to have been inspecting a bridge at River Kuja in Ogembo when the incident happened. 3 journalists who were accompanying the two are said to have fallen off the bridge and into the raging waters and were fished out and rushed off to the Kisii Teaching and Referral Hospital. We should be able to give you information about that story in our subsequent bulletins. But in the meantime, the Kenya Forest Services has suspended 3 of its officers as a result of alleged involvement in the destruction of the Dakacha woodland forest in Kilifi County. The 3, who are said to have been colluding with cartels in the region, allegedly issued permits to charcoal transporters despite a 90-day ban on the same. Timber harvesting, of course, in public and community forests.
The Kenya Forest Service has been on the spot over the massive destruction of the country's forest cover, with an interim forest task force report identifying corruption perpetuated by forest officers as one of the leading causes of forest destruction. And as the government works on formation of caretaker management at the helm of KFS as recommended by the Marion Wakanyi-led task force, the service has suspended 3 of its senior officers on allegations of illegal charcoal business in Kilifi County.
3 of my officers who are directly involved have actually been asked to step aside.
The 3 who are said to be working with cartels in the region allegedly issued permits to charcoal transporters to harvest trees from Dakacha woodland forest.
Any indigenous tree that is being harvested is being done illegally. We are still implementing the moratorium, the government moratorium. So any officer who is found to have done anything contrary to that, we have no option but to ask them to step aside as further investigations take place.
The woodland is reported to have lost 20,000 hectares of forest cover over the last 10 years. Acting KFS Chief Conservator of Forests, Dr. Monica Karenda, says the suspension will pave way for investigations. The decision was arrived at following a tour and several meetings involving both the county and KFS officials after complaints on charcoal movement despite a moratorium on timber harvesting in all public and community forests. In February 2018, the national government suspended logging in all public and community forests in the country for a period of 3 months as water levels in major rivers dropped to worrying levels. Irene Mchuma Udim, The Lunchtime News.
Donkey owners in Naivasha are protesting over what they say is increased cases of donkey theft in the region. The group is pointing an accusing finger at the Brilliant Star Donkey Slaughterhouse, alleging that the beasts of burden stolen from the area end up at the abattoir.
Carrying placards, the irate protesters under the Naivasha Donkey Owners Self-Help Group marched to the abattoir, alleging that donkeys stolen in the area were being slaughtered at the facility. According to the group's secretary, Jefferson Budhia, cases of donkey theft have been on the rise since the slaughterhouse was put up. Budhia claiming that several donkeys stolen from the area had been recovered at the holding yards within the slaughterhouse.
Stableland should blacklist any suppliers who have in the past or who will be found involved in donkey theft to bring sanity in the industry.
The group says that the only way the vice will be contained is for the slaughterhouse management to cooperate with donkey owners and the provincial administration. However, slaughterhouse CEO John Karaoke dismissed the allegations, saying the facility has on several occasions blacklisted suppliers who have in the past engaged in donkey theft to bring sanity to the industry.
Kama wewe unataka kufanya biashara ya kuuza puda, ni lazima uende kwa veterinary office upate license ya kukuwezesha kufanya hiyo biashara. Kama una hiyo, tena siwezi nunulia wewe puda yako.
Meanwhile, donkey owners from Kajiado County have expressed opposition to the planned construction of an abattoir in the region. The small-scale farmers say the beast of burden is an integral part of the economic development of pastoralists and as such should be protected.
Ile shida ambayo tunapitia ni shida nyingi sana, lakini ya kwanza ni kuibwa kwa mapunda usiku na watu wanaenda kuchinja, wanaua huko msituni na hujui ni nani, na wanaweka magari na huwezi kufuata nyayo. Unakuta tu mzoga mahali imechinjwa imechukuliwa. Hiyo ndio shida moja kubwa.
The region has witnessed increased cases of donkey theft in the recent days.
Now, plans to establish the very first university in Nyandarua County are edging closer to fruition as the county leadership looks forward to admit the very first batch of students. The first group will be admitted at the Old Jororok Farmers Training Center, an affiliate of the University of Nairobi, where a satellite campus will be located. Nyandarua County Deputy Governor Cecilia Mbudia says that the county administration is awaiting the clearance from the Commission for University Education in order to progress to the next level. The multi-million shilling project is being undertaken by the county government of Nyandarua in collaboration with the national government under the mentorship of the University of Nairobi.
We are here at the site of the main campus. The main campus is going to be at Captain. We have gone further to pay fees to the Commission for University Education, because before you start any university or university college, you will need to have an inspection by this body.
In other news, residents of the city's Sosian estate have raised concern over an alleged plot by land cartels to grab public utilities in the area. The residents say that the cartels, who are taking advantage of the ongoing titling process by the Lands Ministry, are colluding with corrupt land officials to commit fraud. Their concerns coming as unknown persons descended on the Tumaini grounds, accompanied by surveyors, and commenced demarcation of the 6-acre piece of land set aside for the construction of a public school.
It has a valid title issued by the National Lands Commission and the Ministry of Lands. This estate is over 50 acres. It has been developed and it is settled by more than 700 families in this estate, and we are supposed to develop for them a primary school. Now they are coming to demarcate a school property so that they can be able to generate titles to sell as private residential.
We now take a short break. We'll be right back with more content. But here is how you can get in touch with us and share with us your feedback on the news. The SMS line is open. 22162 is the SMS line, and you can let us know what you think, starting with the word KBC. For those of you who prefer Twitter, our handle is @KBC Channel 1. My personal handle is @Muyakane. And tweet us and tweet me, and we'll be happy to sample your feedback live on air. We'll come back in a moment.
Je, waweza fanya nini kwa dakika 4? Na mega dola. Unaweza piga chef? Na mega dola. Kila kitu ni mega. Waweza pika ugali? Na mega dola. Pesa hapa ni mega. Na mega. Labda waweza fua nguo? Ni mega. Na mega dola. Ama unaweza tengeneza milioni 30. 4 minutes are enough to win big with Mega Dollar. Just go to Lipa na M-Pesa, select Pay Bill, enter business number 295888, enter account name KBC, deposit 10 shillings or more, enter your PIN and press OK, then choose 10 numbers from 1 to 80 and send to 29588. And you can win up to 30 million shillings every 4 minutes. Deposit, play and win with Mega Dollar. The big game for big winners.
This week on Africa Leadership Dialogues, we talk matters markets, consumer, research, data and much more. Julie Gishuru speaks to Brian San, Managing Director, East and South Africa, Nielsen.
What we do is for our clients is we help them to measure their performance in a market, and then we help them to improve upon that performance. And our theory is if we are helping clients to measure their performance and improve on their performance, we're helping markets. We're helping to improve efficiency in markets. And if you improve efficiency, you remove any opaqueness, and that just helps to improve markets, and markets are people. And that's our vision of how we, how what we do helps the world.
Tune in to KBC Channel 1 this Saturday at 8 p.m.
Time for some good moments and Big Mind Show. We are one, together in spirit. Infant to Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday.
Save a date this Saturday, the 19th May 2018 from 10 a.m. and join us live on KBC Channel 1 as we take you to Windsor Castle for a royal treat where Henry Charles Albert David, commonly known as Prince Harry, marries Meghan Markle. Take the front row seat as we bring you the all-important close-ups. Be part of the millions in the world who will be watching the royal wedding.
Welcome back. If you're joining us right now, this is the KBC Channel 1 Lunchtime News. The Water Resource Management Authority will begin the process of earmarking all buildings and structures erected on or near wetlands for demolition from next week. Warma Regional Manager in Tana River Water Catchment Area of Embu County, Bernardo Muya, said that the authority cannot wait for disaster to strike so that it can ask people to move to safer ground. He spoke during a tour of Embu County where residents living near a swamp near Dallas Estate were given 21 days to vacate.
The ongoing floods witnessed in most parts of the country have so far claimed several lives and occasioned destruction. In order to avert disaster, the Water Resource Management Authority has issued a 3-week notice to tenants living near swamps at Dallas Estate, Embu, to look for alternative dwelling. The authority regional manager in Tana Water Catchment Area, Embu County, Bernardo Muya, said their continued stay around the swamp is unsafe as the raging waters are slowly filling up the water body. 100 families were forced to vacate after they were displaced by floods. The authority further says the process of earmarking structures built on the wetlands for demolition begins next week. In Migori County, residents of Manyata village in East Kanyamkago have appealed to the county government to help in the construction of a killer bridge that has claimed 3 lives since the beginning of the heavy rains. The 30-meter long foot bridge, which connects the village to learning institutions in the area, is only supported by planks of wood and poles that have weakened since the rains began pounding. The situation has become precarious, especially for school-going children. Traders are also worried because they are losing business.
Na imekuwa ni tatizo kubwa sana. Hata tumelia na hatujawahi kupata msaada. Imekuwa ni kazi ngumu sana watu kupita hapa kwenda ng'ambo. Hata watoto wetu wana shida kubwa sana.
Kila wakati tukiona daraja kama hii tunahofia. Hata huenda kwamba sisi zingine tukasia kazi kwa sababu ya daraja kama hii.
Meanwhile, more than 700 families displaced by ongoing floods in northeastern region benefited from 126 tons of assorted items donated by Islamic Relief, an ungovernmental organization operating in areas with humanitarian challenges. Officer in charge Mustafa Ibrahim said the organization stepped in during the holy month of Ramadan to ensure those who lost property observe the season without hitches.
We also had the flash floods, which have affected the communities who have been doing farming along the river line, especially both in River Tana and River Dawa. We think and we hope this will reach a long end to those people, to make sure at least they have something for their iftar during this Ramadan season.
The threat of waterborne diseases now looms large as the flood waters are likely to mix with sewer due to poor drainage in many areas. Public health officials are calling on all to ensure they treat their drinking water.
Now, the devastating impact of the Patel Dam tragedy shook the entire nation, with marks of the accident bound to remain forever engraved on the minds of the victims and their families. But behind the catastrophe lies a group of men and women of character who gave their all to save their lives and those of victims during the unfortunate accident or other incident. Such is the story of Mary Waruguru, a community health nurse who was the first respondent to victims of the tragedy.
The fateful night the Patel Dam catastrophe struck was particularly harrowing for victims, but among them was a nurse who, despite the overwhelming influx of patients at her 2-room clinic, 32 people had another chance to live. Until the tragedy that claimed 48 people, among them 21 children, little was known about Mary Waruguru, a community health nurse who was the first respondent to victims on the precipice of death that night. She says her life-saving skills acquired from the Kenya Red Cross Society last year, where she worked as a volunteer, helped save lives of children who would otherwise have had their last breath that fateful night. As an administrator turned nurse at Low Shela Medical Clinic, Waruguru says As an administrator turned nurse at Low Shela Clinic, Waruguru says she was on duty that night when she heard screams and unusually loud movements outside the clinic. Panic gripped her and her colleagues, whom she says bolted out of the clinic and ran away, leaving her with the 2-month-old infant that had just been brought in by a police vehicle covered with mud and struggling for breath. Panic gripped her and her colleagues, whom she says bolted out of the clinic and ran away, leaving her with the 2-month-old infant that had just been brought in by a police vehicle covered with mud and struggling for breath. Without a pediatrician, Waruguru was hesitant to attend to the helpless child, even as the police driver that brought the baby insisted that she embarks on saving the child's life. Stuck between her passion for saving life and her profession's red lines, and armed with her first aid skills, she decided to follow her passion.
So nikaanza kukumbuka ile first aid skills ambazo tulikuwa tumefundishwa, ndio tukachukua makasi tunaanza kurarua nguo ya ile mtoto, kwa sababu mtoto alikuwa amejaa matope kila mahali, hata ukaweza kumuona uso anakaje.
Her clinic was by then teeming with unconscious children with complications ranging from difficulties in breathing to deep cuts and extensive bruises. Surviving residents at the Energy and Nyakinyua villages hailed the nurse as a compassionate and hard-working health worker. Last Wednesday, during an interdenominational memorial service at AIC Solai grounds, President Uhuru Kenyatta, who attended the service, honored and commended the 34-year-old nurse for her exemplary service to mankind.
On the international scene, the World Health Organization, WHO, is to hold an emergency meeting to discuss the risk of Ebola spreading from the Democratic Republic of Congo. A panel will decide on Friday whether to declare a public health emergency of international concern, which could trigger a larger response from nations across the country, of course, across the region. Now, at least 44 people have been confirmed to have been infected and in the current outbreak, and 23 deaths have been recorded.
At least 44 people are believed to have been infected in the current outbreak, and 23 deaths are being investigated. Cases emerged in a rural area, with one now confirmed in the city of Mbandaka. The city of about 1 million people is a transport hub on the Congo River, prompting fears that the virus could now spread further, threatening the capital Kinshasa and surrounding countries. The World Health Organization has previously admitted that it was too slow to respond to a deadly Ebola outbreak in West Africa from 2014 to 2016 that killed more than 11,000 people. Senior WHO official Peter Salama said the spread to Mbandaka meant there was the potential for an explosive increase in cases. WHO says that of the 44 Ebola cases reported, 3 are confirmed, 20 are probable, and 21 are suspected. On Wednesday, more than 4,000 doses of an experimental vaccine sent by WHO arrived in Kinshasa, with another batch expected soon. These would be given as a priority to people in Mbandaka who had been in contact with those suspected of carrying the Ebola virus before people in any other affected area. Ebola is an infectious illness that causes internal bleeding and often proves fatal. It can be spread rapidly through contact with small amounts of bodily fluid, and its early flu-like symptoms are not always obvious.